I'm Lee, owner of Peewees. I'm going to be demonstrating on Evie's head a technique called veiling. It's a great introduction into colour. It's also a great way to add more interest to a haircut without actually costing a lot of money, and it's very quick to do. It can be done in a lunchtime or a short break. So I'm just going to go on Evie up and get going. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just section the upper part of Elsie's hair, and even though this hair can be worn from side to side, we're going to put the colour more or less central. So actually take a slightly thinner section. This can be used on completely one length hair or layered hair, but it's mainly to feature the upper part of the hair, to give interest to the upper part of the hair without putting any commitment of colour into the lower part of the haircut. So what I'm going to do, sorry Elsie, is just take slightly thicker weaves on the two lower sections, so here and here, and put in this case the paper up to the root, but I don't actually colour in an even way, because otherwise it makes the regrowth a little bit more harsher. So the colour is kind of splodged nearer the root area. And that's the first section. Now go to the other side. Take the hair, just even the section out a wee bit, get the excess out. On an asymmetric style where it's going to be deliberately worn to one side, the veiling could be deliberately put more to the left or to the right, but as I say, this is so that it can be worn either way. So we take the paper, slightly thicker weaves on the lower sections. This colour is a fairly intense copper tone, but you could use any colour tone. You could use lighter red, copper, even darker, richer tones, just to give more of a natural, warmer effect. So the last two sections, so you take one there. I will make these very slightly finer. The reason for that is to minimise any obvious regrowth. Because when you're designing a colour, you don't just want to think about the design for the day. You want to think about how it performs for your client and cause as much, or minimise any high maintenance if you can. So there's the third section. This technique isn't actually restricted to only 4 sections. I mean, you can do 6, you could do 8, you could do 2. So it's pretty flexible. It's really the idea is just to work with the client's needs. So we're coming to do the 4th and final section. And we just take a piece there. And what I have tried to avoid doing in this particular case is having the section dead centre, because if it was dead centre, it's highly likely that would notice more as it grows out. So it's just slightly either side of the centre line. Just going around, take those sections out. As you can see, they're quite fine. Put the paper in. Add the cover in. Now I've done this veiling with a fairly traditional weaved highlight technique, but actually You can also do it using a balayage technique, which basically is painting hair. And I'll just to illustrate what I mean, we've got this on video. I'm just going to do one final section through the crown using the balayage technique. Sometimes we use balayage, we might backcomb the hair to break it up a little bit, or sometimes we just literally follow the line of the haircut, which is what I'm going to do now. So we literally just very lightly paint through. The reason I'm doing this is just to show you how controllable balayage technique is, and how you can use two techniques on the same head to solve a need. So in this case the need is just to brighten and add interest. So you can do your veiling all by weaves or all by balayage, or in this case a joint combination. So there we have it. We're going to let this process for a short while.